It's Stephanie Evelo with the Evelo Team at Keller Realty, and I've got with me special guest Bob Werner, Senior Partner with the Evelo Team. And we are here today to discuss the real estate market updates to reflect over the past 30 days for April of 2022. So Bob, can you share with us in the local housing market here in April?
Yeah, absolutely. So as we've been doing now for a couple of years, just kind of taking a look at a few key points each month. And where we start off and have been starting off is with this median sales price. And for all of 2022, for sure, we've kind of taken this 5-year look back so we can really see what the trend line looks like. So for April, we set another record. The median sales price for our market was $270,000, which was up 3.8% over March, and that was up 15.6% year over year. So you can see here, we're definitely on our upward trend that we normally start to see beginning in February, and that usually builds up through June. And then as you can see in these other years, we kind of have these little peaks and valleys. Next up is the what we call the median days on market. So that looks like it's gone up 25%, which sounds like a lot, but keep in mind that has gone from 4 days to 5 days. So really not statistically as relevant probably as what that indicates. What will be interesting is if we see any change, I think, from our April data, which is what we're covering now, keeping in mind that the data always trails by about 20 to 30 days versus where we are. So it'll be interesting to see that number in June of next year, which would be the numbers through May. And then next up, we talk about the housing supply or inventory or absorption rate. So again, a balanced market being about a 5 to 7 month supply of inventory. For the month ending April, we were at a 0.7 month supply of inventory, which was up ever so slightly again from those March numbers where we had 0.6 month supply of inventory, and that's a 4.1% change year over year. And then the last one that we look at in this slide deck is the percent of list price received. So on average, we're seeing homes receive 102.1% of list price, which is up a full percentage point over last month and up 1.6% over last year. And again, I'll just point this one out quickly. You'll see from 2021, we kind of increased from January up through June-ish, July. Then we went down, and now we're right back up on that upward trend. So everything is staying pretty standard with what we would expect based on the graph of those numbers over the last 5 years.
Wow. And looking at that, what does that 0.7 months worth of supply of inventory look like?
Yeah, so one of the ways that we've been tackling that is just to kind of pull out 5 areas where we do a lot of business, just kind of suburban areas on the north side of our market, and really look at how many active listings are there. I think we first started doing this when we saw it dip below 500 active listings. I think last month when we did this presentation, we had gotten down to 170, maybe it was 175. So today it actually has gone up a little bit. And this piece of data is actually more real time because this is data that I pulled out of our local MLS when preparing the material for today. And so we are up to 261. The other thing we've been looking at, though, is the number of active listings at $250,000 or less across these areas. So across these 5 northern suburbs in the greater Indianapolis area, there were only 5 listings that were at $250,000 or less. And now that you can see that our market's median sales price has hit 270, we're obviously seeing less and less homes that are at that $250,000 under mark.
Yeah, it's crazy what we're seeing in the market. Now that only having the 5 homes, those are 5 active. Of course, things do keep coming on the market. So it's that right now at this moment in time, there's only 5, right?
Correct. And that would go back just quickly to the point of, right, that median days on market being 5, right? We see a lot of homes in our market go active on a Thursday or Friday. They specifically allow showings for 3 or 4 days, ask for all highest and best offers by maybe Sunday or Monday. So we're kind of artificially in this cycle week after week of seeing homes come on the market. be on the market for a few days under that process, and then go pending. So correct, usually by the time we're on a Wednesday, we've had all the ones from the prior weekend go pending, and we haven't seen the number of new listings that'll typically go live on a Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that the buyers know, right, that there's still homes coming out there for sale on the market. It's just that, yeah, this moment in time, because they come on and off so quickly.
Yes.
Right.
Being prepared.
Yeah. Yes. And then what about the interest rates? I know everybody's been curious what's happening with the interest rates.
Yeah, so this is probably garnering the most attention on a daily basis from a news reporting standpoint, correct? So this has been the biggest change to the real estate market in 2022. In January of this year, we were at a 3.2% average interest rate for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. That number through last week has risen to 5.3%. So I've only been at this for 9 years. Stephanie, I know you've been at it a lot longer than me. That is the single largest jump in interest rate in that short of a period of time during the 9 years that I've been in real estate. So I'm hesitant to say that it has never jumped that quickly at any other point in time. But I can at least safely say in the 9 years that I've been involved in real estate, that's the largest jump we've seen in that short of a period of time. And, so I think that predicting where that's headed would be a little bit like putting a blindfold on and throwing darts at a dartboard and trying to hit the bullseye. I think the general consensus is that we will continue to see some fluctuation in that average interest rate for a 30-year fixed mortgage rate throughout 2022. And then I think the difference of opinion, depending on which expert you're speaking to, seems to be that they think that'll flush out somewhere between 5.5 and maybe as high as 6%. But that's a little hard to predict. I think the key thing is sitting down with a real estate professional and seeing where it is at the time that you are potentially in the market to buy, how that impacts you, and putting a good plan in place for helping you achieve your objectives.
Yeah, and we're going to hopefully do a deeper dive with a mortgage specialist, our preferred mortgage lender here just in the next 24 hours or so. So yeah, if people can follow our Facebook page and our website and all, we'll be sharing some additional information about that. So yeah, thank you for sharing that, Bob. So any final thoughts on the market and conditions right now?
Yeah, I think every few months we've kind of always done this real estate myth busters, I guess I'd call it, right? There's always these various points in time and various points that are being reported in the media and what's myth and what's reality, right? So I just have a few on here that I can go over pretty quickly. Buyer myth, I should wait to buy a home until prices and mortgage rates falls. Well, if you've been doing that for the last 2 years, you've really lost a lot of money, right? So prices and rates certainly appear that they're going to continue to rise. So putting a plan in place is going to save you the most money versus waiting, right? I think the other myth is, hey, it's this crazy seller's market. I can just set my selling price at whatever I want, right? Again, another falsehood, right? You can't just pick any price. Pricing your house appropriately for the market still requires expertise for certain. We can obviously help with that. And there's a lot of variables that go into that. And I'll just hit the next couple, right? That maybe waiving a home inspection might be a good idea. And there's a lot of risk inherent with that. Could be applicable for some situations, but again, that's definitely something you don't want $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in potential unknown, unpleasant surprises just after you've moved into your new home. And then I think the other one is, hey, I'm going to have to renovate my home before I sell it. That would be another one that I would say, get that professional expertise out there to figure out, hey, what's the dollar value return going to look like on any of those renovations versus the cost of time, effort, energy, et cetera, versus the return you might get. So those are just a few points that I thought relevant to talk through today and kind of help dispel some of those myth busters.
Yeah, and I can speak from personal experience. Derek and I were looking to build out of state a year ago and waited. And then 1 year later, yes, the price has drastically risen. And so, yes, just waiting, thinking that it was going to go down. Yeah, that hasn't happened. So, yeah, if they're thinking about buying now, right? Now's a better time than waiting. Well, thank you so much, Bob, for sharing everything that you've shared today. And I want to thank everybody for joining us today. We tried to just educate our clients and public and friends about what the market is doing so that you can make a wise, informed decision and choice in your home buying decisions and home selling decisions. So if you have any questions or want to find out more about what the value of your home might be, or looking at the buying market and such, feel free to reach out to us. You can reach us at info@eveloteam.com, or you can call our home buyer and seller hotline at 317-863-9011. Again, 317-863-9011. And as always, we appreciate you joining us today, and make each moment count. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Bob.